What do you think of the score? I think it was a beautiful goal by Asivar and Olympica.
want to see that beer shower with that fervor for when we score a goal ourselves. This is CLTFC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans. Damn it.
Damn it.
I'm your host, JT. Over there is my boy Lee. And down there is Brian Bam Maurer hanging out. It's always good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. So, what's up?
Well, we did see a beer shower this weekend.
Well, I know, but I didn't see it, and it was an on goal. You know, it was an own goal.
Still kind of counted for us. We love own goal, right,
it
man?
Counted, but did it count?
Of course it counted.
Really?
I mean, it was a goal. It got us at least a point.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. It was skillful when it was for Charlotte, and it was lucky when it was for St. Louis. That's how.
Oh,
it was.
okay.
100%. That's how it goes, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, man. So what's good? How's y'all's day been?
Interesting, man. It's been a real interesting day, but it's a beautiful day here in Charlotte. In case you're watching from anywhere else,
That's right.
60.
And what are they supposed to do if they watch this later, JT?
You should hit subscribe and like it and watch it and subscribe to it and watch it and like it and watch it and subscribe to it
And share.
and share all day.
That's it. That's
And
it.
we're on different handles too, Twitter, especially Instagram, CLTFC, Fan TV. We're all over the place.
That's right. That's
Make
right.
it happen.
So tonight we've got a giveaway of our Vargas, man.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Defend the Queen. If you're not following Defend the Queen, you should. And if you're at the tailgates, go check out his booth and show the man some love and buy some merch.
And the flip with in the foreground and him celebrating, and that's awesome.
Yes, that's legit.
Kudos.
This is right, man. So how do you enter this, you might ask?
What could it be? Could it be rigged? No.
Not really.
Could it be Sir Minty? No.
Could it be Kerwin? No.
Could it be what were they busting your balls about? What Lee? Spend something with Lee. What was that?
Oh, hell to the leather.
Oh, hell to the leather.
Hell to the leather if you want to enter tonight's drawing.
Nice.
Hashtag hell to the leather.
I like it.
That's it. Let's talk about the game, man, last week, man. You know, it was I don't know if I'm disappointed or if I consider ourselves we got lucky, man, but you know, it was interesting. What do you think, Brian?
Well, I was pretty lukewarm about the performance. I think we got very lucky in a couple instances. Bronico could have easily gotten a straight red.
Yeah.
And
we saw that
because now he's suspended, which I think is probably pretty well deserved. I mean, honestly, like it was a very, very high boot. I mean, it was almost at his knee.
We got lucky, man. We got
very
playing a very long time with 10 men, and then Jones, right?
Yep, and then Jones also elbowed, like clotheslined a dude. So like, and that was like part of the course of this game. I mean, because Nealis also like elbowed somebody in the face for Charlotte. I can't remember the exact play, but Nealis also, I'm pretty sure, like got somebody in the face as well. So it kind of was like par for the course for this type of game in a way. But it doesn't mean they weren't still fortunate. But I mean, this kind of seems like that's going to be how Charlotte and New York play in this in terms of just like
I mean, those kind of.
Why are they so chippy? Why? I mean, I know it goes back to last season and everything, and that the cup play as well. In that game we played on the high school field up in Jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
But what? I mean, is that just going to be it? I mean, are we building our own little kind of rivalry with the Bulls? Like,
I feel like we have, man. I feel like that's one that's kind of because that was like what when Latanzio took over. Yeah. I don't think Latanzio's lost to them either, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did. They lost 2-0 in the very last game of the season after Charlotte's 2-2 draw against Columbus that knocked them out. So it was kind of like a pretty meaningless, important game for New York at that point, and pretty meaningless game for Charlotte FC.
Yeah,
it was the last game of the season. And then, I mean, I think what's happened with both of the New York teams and Charlotte is like they've kind of played each other at important times where it's like for both teams. And so that's kind of added to the chippiness. It's just like, and New York Red Bulls specifically play that way regardless. Like that's how they play.
It didn't help though that we swept the reigning champs as well. So that was good to see. Swept them right on out.
Yeah. So I think that was where I was like, I mean, we got pretty fortunate in a lot of areas. I also was like really disappointed that it's continuing to be I feel like I'm a broken record at this point in terms of just like the lack of volume in the attacking third, the lack of chance.
I mean, we've been bitching about that.
Enzo didn't have a single shot. He didn't have a single shot.
Enzo,
not one. And so and he's only had one shot in the last 2 games because he did score against Orlando, but he only had that one shot that whole game. So now it's been 2 games with 1 shot total. And for me, that's just like easily the biggest issue with the club right now.
Is there any way that it's like a numbers game with management saying, listen, if you're not almost at the goal line, I don't care if you think you got it or not, do not shoot until you get to this point. What do you think is the cause? Because the whole broken record thing, and like Lee was saying, I mean, my gosh, you're right. From last season, and even if you miss or whatever, I mean, it's part of the entertainment of it. Just put something on goal.
Yeah.
I just wish we would shoot outside the box a little more. I don't care. Deflections,
Yeah.
keeper's going to fumble it, whatever, right? He's going to parry it away. Like there's going to be an opportunity. The more shots you take, right, the more chance it has to go in.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other instances in terms of like I think the personnel. Like I don't think Mackenzie Gaines is really like a player who's like looking to always look to shoot. He's definitely not a ruthless like shot taker, like right. Like when he's
So
at his
timid,
best, he
man.
gets to the byline and finds that back pass, you know. And then I think Kerwin is starting to show that he's a little bit more ruthless in terms of like the way he's taking on players on the left and firing on goal, but it's still not happening at the clip that I think overall it just has to be from more people. I think also just getting in positions where they are comfortable shooting and also taking the chances that they even have. Like Bender set up Lindsey with just a golden opportunity at the end of the game to get the winner. And I was really impressed with how Bender got that cross in from the byline like that, because it looked like there was no chance, and he put it right on Jalen, like right on him. And he skied it. And so also, even though they had limited chances, they still had the one that could have won them the game. But for me, it's definitely a volume thing. It just has to. And I think part of it also is Enzo, aerial threat. And so early on, we've seen a huge increase in the amount of crosses.
I think
to account for some of that, but it can't be only that. It can't be only that. And so they have to start becoming more diverse in their approach. And that's what I thought Nuno was going to bring. I think that's also why I feel really about this.
Where'd he go? Where was Nuno this game?
Huh?
Where was Nuno this game?
For one, I feel like it was really strange because him and Bronico were really spread out. So they spread out that midfield. So Nuno was really far on the right, almost playing like a winger at times. And then Bronico was way on the left, almost playing as in they were trying to do just a numerical overload on both wings with their central midfielders. And then it was Jones was kind of in an island by himself in the middle. And then Enzo was an island by himself in the middle. And so it kind of made Nuno disappear at times for sure. He still had I feel a couple moments, but nothing spectacular. I was really hoping we were going to see Nuno
Do you think it would be better with Westwood beside him?
Do I think Nuno would be better with Westwood beside him?
And if Westwood was playing, I don't know. I just felt like Nuno just sort of just disappeared in the game. And
for sure. And I think that was part of the location of where he was, which is the same issue we see when we have Carroll out wide, right? Is when you're only on one side of the field, I feel like it makes it easier for a defense to target, okay, we can defend that side. We can let the other space maybe open up on the other side. And then that player can kind of disappear. And Nuno was definitely, obviously, I would imagine the player that New York was keying in on is hey, he's going to be a guy in the attacking third who's going to be pivotal to what Charlotte are doing, and it also just didn't work out anywhere near to what I think Charlotte was hoping for from him. Definitely what I was hoping for from him. I don't know if Westwood and Nuno playing together makes that difference. I really feel like Nuno and Westwood are kind of playing the same role, or going if they're both playing. I think Nuno can play the wing obviously as well, right? But I think when they're in the midfield, they're playing the same role, which is create chances, spread the ball out, make quick decisions and progressive actions forward, and really speed the play up, because Westwood's processing speed is super quick. It's remarkable how quick he knows where he wants to send that ball at a really quick clip and far. It's amazing how that's one thing I've been really impressed with him, is just he knows where he wants to launch it really quickly. And I think Nuno kind of does the same thing. So I really feel like either of them play with Bronico and Jones out there, because Bronico and Jones provide something different. They provide, Jones I feel like is out there regardless at this point. I don't really think another 6.
What about? Hold on, I'm sorry, Lee. Let me jump. What about how Lindsey is playing so far up and this kind of agitator of in a good way, everything going with the speed? It seems like he's back. He's up. He's back.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Lindsey.
He definitely is earning a start, man.
Yeah, I think I hope
Same was the fool.
one thing, I hope one thing we see from Lindsey moving forward is continuing to see him play out wide and staying wide more and having our right wing, if that ends up being maybe where Swiderski continues to play, and he is then pushed. Swiderski is pushed in as like a second forward from the right, and Lindsey covers that right wing.
This kind of hits on this point, though. I mean, Carroll's had 9 goals in a 4-4-2, right, for Poland.
Yeah.
I mean, like Trent says, right, we understand wanting to play your system, but maybe a 4-4-2 is better and let Enzo kind of just roam around or whatnot, right, and just cause some ruckus. I mean, I feel like that last 20 minutes of the game last week, like if we played like that for the most of the game, like, maybe 70 minutes instead of 90, right? We would be a team to reckon with.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to so what happened in the last 20 minutes for me was Latanzio put out guys who were quick to try to make an impact and make a difference and be a little bit more cutting edge than what we saw from the first 70. And I don't know why it seems to happen almost with whoever Latanzio subs in. It's kind of bizarre. Like if he subs in Shinyashiki, he shows out, and it's like his reserves seem to always do that, and his starters seem to really come out kind of sluggish and way less ruthless. But like Melo and Bender both looked super game. Like Melo looked really, really game. The 2 crosses he had from the left were just so on point. And then, I mean, Bender looked real game too for that 15 minutes. He found lots of space, was really trying to drive forward and make things happen. And then, again, he put the best chance in.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said Bender looked real busy.
Yeah.
Hair's not as long. Hair's not as long.
That's
He's able to go.
Aerodynamic.
I just want to remind everyone out there that CLTFC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans, damn it. And please, if you want to win the beautiful show it again, Lee, can you pull it back up?
Yeah.
Picture tonight from Defend the Queen, which is original artwork, which is badass. Thank you. Hell to the leather. Hashtag hell to the leather. Because I was looking at the comments while you were talking. And I'm like, man, if someone just jumped in here, like, why are people putting hashtag hell to the leather?
That's how we roll, man. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
man.
all right. Please continue.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we found out today Bronico's got a red card, right, man? And so I mean, Alan's asking the same sort of question: who starts in midfield for us Saturday? Do we know if Westwood's still hurt?
Sub for Bronico is what you mean, right? Straight up. Like, do you think they'll keep the same formation, or if they sub for him, they got to do a different formation?
No, I think they can. I think they can probably work with the same. I think Westwood, I think if Westwood's healthy, he's starting pretty much over almost anyone. I think him and, for me, I feel like Westwood, Bronico, and Jones are probably pretty close to the starting 3 at this point. Yeah. I was really thinking Nuno was going to take this opportunity. I mean, he had 2 real good opportunities to kind of separate himself. He had that 45 minutes in Orlando, which he had a couple really good technical dribbling moments in Orlando City, but he also didn't really I was really hoping to see over the last game and a half, Nuno really show that he is capable of taking over a bit in that midfield and really showing what he can do and really controlling the game and sort of being undeniable in some ways. And that just didn't happen at all. So I don't think he's just a locked in starter just because he has some creative traits. If he's going to be the starter, Latanzio likes stability as well. And soundness defensively
but we say stability, but man, if he doesn't change up that formation quite a bit. Yeah. Before we get going too far, we haven't seen the shipping department in a while, and we love the shipping department on this show. So hey to the shipping department. Without the shipping department, things don't get shipped. So yeah, but no, he keeps mixing it up formation wise or with the players. So I mean, to your point of saying he doesn't mix it up, I kind of go back and forth on that. I mean, he's trying to mix it up, but I don't think he's mixing up in the right way.
Yeah. No, he stays with the formation. He mixes up the personnel.
Yeah. And so people are asking, why Jan didn't get a chance last week. I think Jan's dropping off, man.
Yeah. I think
he's rated anymore. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. He played left back in preseason, and then he was left off the roster completely as the only backup center back for Orlando City. And then he was replaced by the now backup right back to start at center back when they have no other center backs on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't know if there can be any more clear indication than what has happened over the last couple of weeks to be like, he's not.
He's
playing
definitely way
well
down there. And then when Caruso comes back, man, it's he's even further down that list. And the hashtag hell to the leather, man, almost got Caden in trouble. So his dad had to give him permission. So there's that.
Right.
Yes. But no, I mean, Jan, I think his days are numbered here in Charlotte, to be honest with you. It's going to be a matter of when he leaves, in my opinion. Does he go back to Poland?
I mean, as a young player.
Yeah. And then I've got a question for everybody out there in the chats and everything in the comments. Did anybody see Sir Minty this weekend, or because Melo was playing, and I honestly didn't see Sir Minty, and I was asking pretty much everybody we interviewed after the game if they saw Sir Minty, and nobody's seen him. So I'm starting to feel like my theory might be correct. Melo may be Sir Minty.
I sort of saw him, but maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I was walking fast, and I was like, "Is that Sir Minty off in the distance?"
Yeah, but to let's talk about Melo, man. What do we think about him?
Oh man, I mean, I think
Melo Minty.
He's a reason why I think a lot of people got really excited after the game, and I mean, he's just showed what I'd say we've been kind of hoping for from him since what Jorge posted the amount of days. It was like 460 something.
Yeah, something, right? Yeah. It was.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's just you couldn't have wished more for him in terms of just like what he's kind of gone through in terms of coming in injured and then realizing that like his injury had gotten worse, impacted by what had happened with how they were trying to, medically recover, heal it in Brazil. So they had to go over with more procedures here. And it just, I mean, that's just a complete travesty for a young player like that to have to go through all of that to then finally get an opportunity, be healthy, be running around on the field, and then to really probably be maybe the most impactful player in the game, at least.
Does Melo start this weekend?
Oof. I mean, I think it probably depends on whether or not he's match fit for.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Right?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It could be good for 70 minutes, though.
But he did, yeah. I mean, I think that is also a real. I mean, how often does Latanzio put in a sub at the 60th to 65th minute? Yeah. It's pretty uncommon unless he's a guy who's you're impacting the game for me. And so, as soon as Melo came in at that time, I was like, dude, Latanzio thinks the world of this kid.
Yeah,
that was my first impression as soon as he came on, and then he showed out the way he did, and then he went straight over to Latanzio.
He brought a lot more energy to the game. He brought more energy to the team. It was, it was just the whole team just felt more confident when he came on and played.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, again, right?
Talk about pent up energy, though.
Yeah, there's that too, right? I mean, but
I
mean, I won't. I'm thinking about all the players we have, and damn, on paper, if we don't have some studs, man, but for whatever reason, when it comes to the actual pitch, they just don't. They can't gel.
They can't get it together. I remember in a lot of the comments from the fans, fan reactions, every game after the game, home games, we're out on the street. Y'all come find us, come talk to us. And just the whole idea of it's almost like a combination lock, and they're just trying this and trying that. Latanzio's doing this, but my gosh, sooner or later, click, it's going to be on, it's going to be open, and oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, Trent calls it out perfectly, right? I mean, we didn't have real wingers, in my opinion, either until Vargas and Melo, right? And I mean, we've already seen what Vargas can do when given a chance, and if Melo can kind of follow in those same footsteps, man, I think the wings are going to be solid, right? I mean, and Lindsey, he's running up and down that wing as well. He seems to have a lot of energy, but for whatever reason, we start looking, and I guess this is going to hopefully get kind of cured when Caruso finally does come back. But our center defenders, Milan had a good game, I thought, but, again, it's stupid mistakes that we make that gives the goal away and has us chasing the game. It's just, I don't get it.
Yeah, I really felt for Byrne, honestly, at that point, because up until then, he made some really pivotal key defensive
Yeah,
play.
he was looking
stopped
good.
some one-on-ones.
Yeah.
He won some really key tackles and stopped some other really potentially clear shooting opportunities for New York before that huge lapse in judgment. But that's like the life of a defender and a goalkeeper. Nobody remembers the times you stop the ball from going in. It's the time you let it go in. Is that what everybody remembers? And it was true, right? Because those are the times when, especially when it ends up being a 1-1 draw, your team is struggling to attack. Like
I was so disappointed though. The ref ended the game without letting us have that corner.
Yeah.
Well, but the body check on Burn, when they showed a different camera angle from the field point of view, like from the keeper point of view, to me it looked like you got a nice little chunk on him.
I think it was
together. I guess
it was fair.
It's all about the ball, but I'm just saying from a newer perspective, it's like, holy shit, it looked like he totally body checked him out of the way after he let the go. So
it was definitely a lack of what's the word? He definitely took his eye off the ball, wasn't paying attention. He was too busy thinking about, getting it to the next player versus controlling it and pass. So yeah, I mean, I agree with Tyler. I think he was just expecting it, and he was hoping he could get a foul out of it and get himself out of trouble.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
But he set up for it the wrong way to do that. If you're gonna try to draw the foul, you have to do what John Token is really good at this, and he aggravated Charlotte several times at the end of the game.
He's a good player.
Was when you have to get swing your whole body in front of the ball and really put your whole body. And Byrne was playing a little bit more like, which is what I feel like center backs are always generally really good at doing, is shielding off the ball completely and then forcing them to only either go through you, which then draws the foul, or whip all the way around. And Byrne just like kind of left that. I mean, because I felt like the ball was still more on Byrne's side than Manuel's side.
No, Byrne could have got, at worst case, you knock it out for a throw-in.
It was one step behind. It's like his brain was thinking something else, and as he was thinking, "Oh shit, I need to go that way," the Red Bull player was already on top of it, and like one step ahead, and it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, NC German's comment, right? I mean, it was a chippy game, right? I think, and we touched it at the beginning of the show. It's definitely always going to be that way between us. When we play them, it's always going to be one of those more physical, like, mental sort of games where they try to get you to foul, because I mean, what's his name? Token could have got a yellow for throwing the ball and body checking Enzo.
He did get a yellow for that. He got a yellow for sure in the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think after that, that was later in the game. He could have got a red, I think, or a double yellow.
Then to that point, did they win in that psychological chippiness and the physical part of it with Bronico getting the red card?
No, I mean, obviously Bronico didn't get the red card until today, actually.
I know, but in the sense of getting him to do something that ended up being a red card eventually.
Yeah, I think he was just slow to a tackle.
Yeah, it looked he just looked super out of place and so late. Like
I mean, those tackles though, man, you can ruin a man's career with those kind of
tackles,
man. So
I mean, Axel Witsel has ruined. I mean, he was like blacklisted for a while for a similar kind of tackle.
I mean, that can do a player in for life, and to get away with a 1-game suspension and Jones didn't get anything for his elbow. I think we got lucky on that aspect. I can't defend that. The only thing I would say is Bronico's not that type of player to do that shit on purpose. So
no, he just was super clumsy and late. I mean, he's definitely physical and willing to put in, and definitely picks up yellows, and that's his like style of play. He definitely likes to throw his body around a bit, but there's just no way he's trying to.
That was a last-ditch effort to block a pass.
No, and it was like just super clumsy. It looked like a real just clumsy moment from Bronico, which I mean isn't like completely uncommon for him. There's definitely times when you're like, wow, he's just like doing something spectacular, and then there's other times when he just like looks a bit clumsy at times.
Yeah.
So I think there's just like you get a bit of both.
Yeah, and I mean Enzo, right? I mean he's always in, like, he plays that mind game well. He's always like trying to buy the ref. He's trying to knock the player off his game. He's always doing that, and I like it, man. And so that's it. Yeah, I mean we could have definitely been down 2 players early in the game too. So,
Lee, it looks like you've got the Enzo hair color just going on the sides of your head. I don't know if you're gonna do your whole head like him.
yeah, but mine's natural. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, at least I have hair, boys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Look at that. Look, I don't know, man.
Hey, that's my summer cut.
Mirror image.
It was
Yeah,
getting hot last week.
yeah.
It felt like
But,
summertime.
JT, did you have a list?
Hey, every time I have a list, although we've covered a lot of things.
Harrison did have a good game.
Hey, y'all call out a number and I'll just
17.
say, hey, this is what I'm doing, everybody. Before we have these live shows, I'm just thinking about different things. I do a little homework. I do no homework. I do some homework. I talk to people. I watch whatever. And I just think of some stuff. So 1 through 20, we've already covered like probably 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, I got some numbers. I'm going to call them the numbers. I got some numbers.
All right, I'll start off with 17, and then we'll take a couple out of the comments.
17. So right before the show, we got to get this live feed going, y'all. And Bam and Lee and I were talking as we do, and Lee was like bitching about how
I wasn't bitching.
No, well, I'm sorry, you were complaining because
I just made a
that's
comment.
the reason we're over 9 p.m. I was like, man, we cuss so much, but whatever. Past 9 p.m. This is a rated R show, kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lee was complaining that he had to cut his social life short tonight to come here and do this show. Like we were gonna feel all sorry for him. So everybody, thank you, Lee. Thank you so much for sacrificing your time chasing.
Look, and that's why I
coming here and hang out with us.
Damn it.
Hey,
bullshit, man.
fans.
Nobody was complaining, man. There's nothing more than looking forward to Saturdays after the game and Wednesday nights at 9. There's nothing. That's all I live for.
More like for the only fans in your world.
Yeah, see, you're welcome. Alicia appreciates it. You're welcome, Alicia. Thank you for tuning in for sure. Yes.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. So that's number 17, Lee. There you go.
Yeah, and look, as a teacher, people are telling us to always do your homework.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, during this hour, Caden is able to say and do whatever he wants on the show, Rafi. So we got that. So yeah. No. See, why's there always got to be a spin on it, man? That's it. I'm done. Y'all go ahead, man. I'm going out and catch up with my social life. I'll catch y'all later, man.
That's fine. Later. Go. No.
I'm here for the fans, man. It's all about the fans, for the fans, by the fans. You're welcome, Victor. Good to see you, man. You need to stop by the tailgate at some point, too. And yes, I will take that. So there was another number I saw in here, 13 for Bronico, man. What's number 13 say?
Let's see. All right. Oh yeah. What we were talking about earlier, we kind of covered it. But like Gaines holding off on that beautiful cross, like, why not so close to making that shot? Just it's like he didn't. Whatever, not the same pass. I don't know what you were saying exactly, Bam, in the pre-show, but you were saying how Gaines did not quite. Why not go harder at it?
Yeah, I think it's just more like just a lack of ruthlessness from really all of our attackers in terms of whether it's our creative players making a more ruthless pass and finding and setting somebody up for then space to take a shot, or also just our players just willing to let it rip a bit more. I think the only player in the last few games that we've seen anything like that from is Kerwin Vargas, in terms of really what I liked a lot about from him was against Orlando City, and specifically those 2 shots. And he actually did an interview in Spanish. Oh, I forget who was interviewing him. I'll have to give him a shout later on Twitter, but Kerwin explained and went through detail about he went far post the first time and saw that Pedro Jalese, Orlando City's goalkeeper, was cheating going far post. And so that's why he went near the second time, which then led to him getting the goal. And so I think we just need more of those more of those types of situations happening where players are really setting up the defenders and the goalkeepers in different ways and kind of thinking ahead in terms of how to set up that opportunity to then make a result happen and getting a goal. And I think that's just what is really missing team-wide. Like, it's just how do you set up the opponents so that you can take advantage of them cheating one way or trying to compensate in another. I mean, I think that's what's really been missing. And just
I think what people would call us attendance FC and all that, but like we don't shoot FC, man, is also got to be there, right? We never shoot the damn ball.
yeah, it's 6 shots. They had 6 shots this last game, and 1 on target, and then the record signing Enzo had 0. So I think that's a huge problem.
Yeah,
I think it. I could go a couple of ways on this comment, right? The lack of killer instinct from the attackers. I think Enzo's got the instinct. He's just not getting the service.
Yeah.
We're definitely not shooting. I don't know why we won't take a pop shot or two. I say it every show, right? It's like I don't understand why we don't
For
take some pop
years.
shots out there. Yeah, for over a year now. I don't think it's a confidence thing. I just don't understand. Like, yeah, let it fucking rip, right?
Yeah. Get a ball into the stands. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody, this is entertainment, okay? And my gosh, just fire one off. I mean, it just at least whatever, just get the little flow going, get the blood going.
Enzo had like
What was
4
it?
passes to him the whole game, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was nothing. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sad to see because the talent's there if he's getting the service, but without the service, I mean, again, we all know, we all saw it. But 1-1, fair result, you think?
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel like Charlotte played to win, especially in the first half. Even I think they would have been like, yeah, we made it in with. I mean, did they have a shot on target? I mean, a shot on target or a shot at all in the first half? Like it felt like just nothing really happened in the attacking third in the first half, and I feel like going in 0-0 would have been like the best possible result at that point for Charlotte. Which it looked like it was going to be until because they had that one. New York had that one real scary moment where they ripped one shot at Marks. Like it was a failed clearance from I think it was Jones, and then Marks had to make a clutch save, and then it bounced out, and then I think Manuel couldn't put it just couldn't get his feet under him with the ball, and couldn't get the second one on frame, or he whiffed it, and it just kind of rolled slowly to Marks. But that was like the one scary moment for really either team in the game, and then the second half, Charlotte also just didn't really.
I mean,
amp it up.
Like Lee says, it take shots from everyone, keep the keeper honest, right? And then also makes the defenders have to chase step towards you too if they think you might shoot, right? I mean, it just opens up the pass and so easy, Latanzio. It's so easy, man.
What I hate about it, for many reasons, is just the whole idea of it's our second season, just taking the step back. And, you got this enthusiasm in the Carolinas for this team and for soccer and everything. And newbie fans like myself are like, hell yeah. And we haven't, although technically we have, but haven't ourselves scored a goal yet this whole season.
Oh, we have Enzo.
Not even taking shots. My God, at least take a shot.
Well,
at least take a shot. It made me feel like for a split second it might go in. I could at least taste it. I could smell the effervescence of a goal going in the goal. If it doesn't even go in the goal.
Well, I mean, again, right? I mean, we need to shoot. I mean, Casey says it too, right? Yeah. Right. I mean, that's it. I mean, we just are not creating shots. It's just, and you mentioned the second season. I mean, look, I hate to bring them up, but St. Louis, man, is 5-0. I mean, most of them have been touched, but even when those passes that they get, you watch most of the goals they scored off of that, the guy's almost outside the box when he takes the shot. Take a fucking shot, guys. That's all I'm asking. We should do a thing, man, for charity. Like how many times, we don't shoot outside the box when we should.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the season, we'll take all the money, right? It's $1 each time or something, or we'll come up with some sort of structure, and we'll take that money and donate it to charity.
I am so happy that you said donate to charity and not a drinking game of some sort. It's like every time they don't take the shot at you, no. Lee, gosh, applaud you, man.
Yeah,
let's give the money to charity.
That's what they are, man. It is. But yeah.
I'm serious with that, though. Why not? Shit, let's do something.
We can do something. I don't know, man. Or every time they take a shot outside the box, we put $1 in or something, right? But then, I mean, we'll only be donating $7.
I know. I was going to say, what are you going to say?
Yeah, like, all right, man, here you go. I just go get a couple of boxes of ramen noodles, right, and just take it to the shelter for or whatever, man. But no, we got to come up with something. Let's work on that, man. And you guys can help us too, right, man? We can figure out something where we can make fun of the fact that we don't shoot, but we can raise some money for charity or something. And at the end of the season,
for crosses, you would raise a ton of money on crosses.
$1 for crosses, dude.
Woo, that's like, that would be a ton of money.
Hold on, yeah, this all coming out of JT's pocket, so I don't care how many crosses are coming in.
That's fine. That's fine. Whatever, man. My pockets are. Man, I got that Texas oil money, son.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that might be a good one, man. We need to figure that out.
Can't you tell from my gilded corner of my garage?
Yeah, we need.
Hell, man, I can't even put my car in garage because I ain't got a car. Oh shit.
No, we'll work on that. We'll come up with something we can do for charity with the way the guys play or something. All right. So, last question about the Orlando game before we go to Toronto. Brian, who did you think your man in the match was?
I mean, I was cool with Kerwin Vargas. I mean, that's who got it at the game, and I think I was totally fine with it. I think he's probably been Charlotte's best player the last 2 games. So I was totally cool with him getting it. I mean, he took down Melo's cross really well, and then put it across the 6, and got a little fortunate with the touch and got the goal. So I mean, I think, like I said, I think he's been the best player for Charlotte the last 2 weeks. So I was happy he got it, and his family, I guess, was there. Right. I heard today, and so I mean, that's a big moment for him. So
yep. All right, so I'm gonna mark some of these ideas for charity. We'll do a poll or something. We'll figure it out. But I guess the question is who's going to put the money in, right? We'll figure it out. So,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on to.
I'm going to start digging holes in my backyard and try to find that Texas tea.
Yeah.
That
so,
sweet fruit.
Yeah. Oh, that's not what I'm show. Yeah. So, if you have an event raising money, or anybody for that fact, right, needs us to help promote it, tweet it, whatever, just tag us wherever and let us know, and we'll definitely we'll help you out there for sure.
For the fans, by the fans.
Yeah, and Casey said saying hello to JT was the reason that we tied it up. So Casey and JT chatting, we appreciate y'all.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. So all right, let's move on to Toronto. Should be a winnable game.
Yeah.
However, Crosses FC, Don't Shoot FC, Attendance FC, Charlotte FC are probably going to shoot themselves in the foot. So, Brian, you actually wrote a pretty good article that you put out on Top Bin today. So, you want to dive into it, man?
Yeah. So, I think we can kind of look back at the 2 games last season as to how Toronto's probably going to approach Charlotte FC. I mean, it's all about Bernadeschi, especially with Lorenzo Insigne out, and I'm not sure if he's going to be back yet. I haven't seen an update on him being fit at all, so I'm anticipating he's still going to be out. And since he's been out, it's all Bernadeschi. Like, everything's coming out of the right hand side for them attacking wise. And I mean, we've been burned by him twice. So in both games, he scored. Charlotte. Charlotte's the only team Toronto beat both times last season, and and they weren't a good team. Like, they had
they wasn't. Points. Yeah, I thought we would at least get 3 points off them last season, but
especially at home. Especially at home. So I mean, it's definitely not going to be a matchup that I think. Charlotte's going to have to show up in Toronto and not get sort of wowed by the environment, which is what I think happened on the road last year when they went down 4 in the first half. I think that was a big moment. And from everybody I've heard from the team was like, that environment was wild because it was the first game the Italians were in town and starting and playing and everything like that. And so apparently it was just raucous there.
Yeah, let's hopefully we don't get
and so I think so that there's no way it's going to be that same environment. But regardless, what kind of gets me shook with Charlotte on the road is just any kind of environment seems to really put this team off a bit on the road. At times.
Orlando,
so they definitely have
Orlando on the road.
well.
And I
Yeah,
can't
that's true.
I honestly can't say I didn't think we would.
Yeah. Granted, they were coming off of like maybe their biggest game in club history that Wednesday, which Charlotte definitely has gotten some luck the last 2 years with the CCL matchups they've gotten, or like teams coming off of big CCL games. But I'm concerned a little bit about the Toronto environment and how the team shows up there. They can't start slow. The other issue is Toronto seems to have.
Start slow.
I know, and I say it every time. Like that's the one thing. That's the one thing that keeps like they just start sluggish. Latanzo has to get that fixed because I think as a team that, as they have said, like the philosophy is high pressing, high line, aggressive, progressive football is like starting slow is just like such like a detriment.
Yeah, I mean,
to that.
That's what I get tired of seeing, right? I understand possession ball, right? I get that. I mean, most of the big clubs do that, right? And they win, but we never look for that forward pass, it seems like. It's like we're always playing it back, and we never get, once we get up to midfield, we sort of just turn around and pass it back
so
again.
We're 2/3 of the way there. It's just that final third, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean,
like, hey, we got there. Let's turn around and go back.
Yeah.
Hey, we got there. Let's turn.
Yeah, and I think the other issue with Toronto right now is that they have seemed to figure out some of their defensive woes from last year based on like a lot of their sign. I mean, they pretty much overhauled their entire defensive line, which was desperately needed. They gave up like 66 goals last year, so they definitely needed to revamp there. And they also brought in Sean Johnson, so they have a completely revamped back line and defense, and they've had, I think it's 3 straight clean sheets. So
that's because
or they kept 3 total.
Around.
3 total. I'm sorry, and I mean, but they've it seems like at least early on that they might have fixed some of those defensive issues that they had.
Charlotte's issue though, man, is like we're starting to lose some depth with injuries, right? If we say Westie's out still, I don't know, right? Taluma's, I don't know what his status is. You know, we got Bronico on a red for a game. You know, it's you know what I mean? It's like Charlotte's starting to, and at least Carroll's coming back, but then it's good to see Melo coming in. I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like a part of us, not that it matters because we don't shoot and we haven't really scored, man. We're kind of starting to get a little more top heavy than we are defensively for the players, right? So,
yeah, I'd imagine Tui Loma, from what I've heard, is probably. I mean, it seemed like he was day to day, like pretty much up until the day, potentially in. I mean, so I think there's a chance that if he was day to day leading up to the game, I'd imagine there's still a decent chance he's back for Toronto FC.
Right.
So, but the Westie is definitely a huge one because I feel like, and I had said this, I think before even this, I was kind of concerned about our midfield depth, even though I know the focus has always really been on left back. But the one thing I noticed is as soon as like Westwood or Bronico goes down, which is now the exact scenario they're in.
Yeah.
You look at all their backup depth, and I feel like it's just in terms of experience and leadership quality drops down pretty significantly. I mean, you have
does DJ start in for Bronico unless Westie's back?
DJ starts because he has his own position that is DJ's. To me, I mean, I think he's the only true 6 on the roster.
Right.
And I mean, I just don't see how DJ doesn't almost start week in and week out. You know, I mean, they can't. I keep seeing these like lineups where they're like super aggressive, where it's like Westwood at the 6, Nuno, Swiderski, like just like all attackers, and I'm just like, I mean, it looks fun.
And then own goal scores.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
I was just looking at the weather in Toronto, and they don't. Is their stadium's not inside, right?
No, it's the outside.
It looks like it's going to be the nastiest weather you can have, besides maybe ice. It's like supposed to be like 33 degrees Saturday night and raining off and on. So it's just going to be really cold, not quite snow, and just like a cold, wet,
like a sleet.
Well,
it didn't say sleet. I saw little raindrops, and it said 0 degrees. Which, you know, in Celsius, because I guess it was a Canadian site, is 0.
Well, if that slows down Bernadeschi, I'm for that.
Hey, I'm just saying, it's going to be such shit weather. It looks like, at the very least, very cold, if not drizzling and wet and just not fun. So hey, but that can help with the crowd, hopefully.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
too.
mean, there's that.
There is that. You
There
got
is
another
that.
number
So, what
for
does
me,
Charlotte need to do? What does Charlotte need to do to leave Canada and God save the Queen to my grandmother? What do they need to do to win this weekend?
I mean, they got to start really picking up what they had done towards the end of last season, which I feel like was make lots of cohesive passing sequences. Like, I mean, that was the big thing. And Caleb
Attacking
right
pass.
up. What?
Attacking.
Yeah, exactly. And being able to progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should be very specific. Like,
Yeah,
passing
because we make
sequences that have to be
some
done.
passes and have 70% of the ball. Damn it!
Well, actually, not even. So
Attacking!
I've gotten really obsessed with this Opta Analyst website, theanalyst.com, and they've actually shown they have how many times Charlotte have passed like 10 at least 10 passes, like consecutively, and it's like not many at all. It's like one of the fewest in the whole league. It's or middle of the road. They're like 41, which is like less than 10, like what is that, like 8 or 9 a game. So like for a team that's basing their whole philosophy around it to be middle of the road, as like I feel like that's and I feel like we've seen that especially in the build up play, just tons of turnovers in our own third and in the middle third. The upside is Toronto FC is not a pressing team, which is what Orlando City also was not a pressing team, and Charlotte seemed to be able to be a little bit more comfortable in that environment. So I think that gives an advantage to Charlotte in terms of Toronto also doesn't really control a ton of areas with, possession or really press high too often. So Charlotte, ideally, if that's how they play, if I was Toronto, I wouldn't care if their philosophy isn't to press high. I would press high against Charlotte until Charlotte can prove they can break down a press, because they haven't been. I mean, every team that's had success against Charlotte has given Charlotte the ball, let them play with it in their own half, and taken it in. Like,
and then we pass it back to them outside.
Yeah, like that's literally how like all the goals have been scored. Like no matter who they play, they've literally just been Charlotte's been given the ball, like launched, and then they just are playing with it in their own half. They try to make a risky pass, or what happens, or Milana just gives it away.
Yeah.
All of it, and then they just put it in. So like, if I was Toronto, I wouldn't care if you're not a pressing team. I would just be like, we're just going to launch it to Charlotte, let them try to get it out of their own third, and then wait for ideally a turnover to try to score, because that's how Charlotte has been beaten pretty much.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen, man. But we're going to have that one mental mistake, and then they're going to take advantage of it. And that's why I think we're going to lose 1-0.
Yeah, you think? Oh, you popping right out with the score prediction. You just,
it seemed to flow with the conversation at that point, man. So I just went ahead and threw it out there.
Well, now it's 9:50 almost. Why not?
Yeah. Let's talk score predictions. You guys too out there in YouTube land, man. Drop your comments in the chat and we'll throw them up there.
I think it's going to be a slick pitch, mate.
Yes.
I think a slick pitch is going to mean it's going to be a sloppy. I'm going to agree with you, Lee, because I've been predicting losses and it's actually worked out. At least we haven't.
Turnover FC, yes.
No, turnover FC. So, yeah, I'm saying 1-0 Toronto.
1-0 Toronto. Brian, what are you saying, man?
Yeah, so I think if it is those poor of a conditions, I mean, it's definitely not going to be a high-scoring game if it's real.
Yeah, so we're not sure if we're talking Fahrenheit, centigrade here, or Kelvin.
Yeah, it's 33 centigrade. It's like nice and balmy and like 75.
Yeah. Toronto 7-6 Charlotte. That would be a crazy game.
I don't know anybody named Kelvin, man.
That would be like a Liverpool versus Man U game there. So I won't say anything since Austin's right underneath you with his Manchester United.
But I think it's going to be low scoring. I do think Charlotte puts one in. Enzo has a chance to be like the third player in MLS history to score in his first 3 away matches. So it's like him, Cucho, Hernandez did it last year, and there's one other player who did it. It was Juan Pablo Angel back in 07.
Damn, that is a deep stat.
That is
Damn, running a deep stat on y'all. Did y'all just hear that shit?
It's not
He's going to be like the third player ever in MLS history to score in his first 3 matches in a way. That is some deep ass shit.
Yeah, Esteban, man.
Deep ass shit that got brought to the surface by MLS Soccer. I'm not going to take full credit.
Marks gets a banger from his box. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I think Enzo. I'm going to root for Enzo making history in that regard, but I think Toronto also finds the net because Bernadeschi has just done that against Charlotte, and he's everything in terms of what they do going forward. So I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. But I'll take that. Charlotte, if Charlotte keeps getting points on the road and continues to find a way, even in poor form, which I feel like they've been in just pretty poor form since opening kick, to find a way now to start just like scraping by and getting points until they can start to click. I mean, you take that. I feel like, I mean, it's not ideal. Obviously, you take being in good form, but like if you're not, if you can find a way to like scrape by and get some points until things can start to clicking and you figure out where, you know, where everybody fits and all that. Like,
I just want us to say, I feel like the team's still so unsettled, right? I mean, like the starting lineup, we don't really know who's going to be in. Obviously, we're trying to bring back players that have been injured or haven't had much playing time and get them involved. But
I mean, Tia, real quick, how the hell does it work? Because one of our DP Swiderski's been gone on an international. How does that work? Like, if we were at some point in the season or whatever, it means obviously points right now. So because he's on his national Polish team, he goes away for X amount of time.
Yeah, he should be back this weekend.
I know, but here's my question: is Charlotte compensated for that, for his missed time, or is it just it's understood? It's the MLS season. He's gone.
Well, it's not just the MLS. I mean, I guess in regards to the MLS, right? Europe, for instance, right? They basically stopped their domestic leagues for this, right? So, but yeah, I mean, MLS.
So it's tough shit, Charlotte.
But I mean, there was all that stink last year too, where Carroll didn't go to the team and he was injured apparently. But yeah, I think he still played for Charlotte. So, it.
Yeah, and they have agreements. They have a like so. During different international breaks throughout the season, I think clubs can pick when they have games, or they can kind of have some say as to when they get a bye week to some extent. I mean, it's not like straight across they can just pick, but I think they have a little bit of leeway, so they can try to set up their schedule to some extent to kind of match up with their international breaks. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know the exact ruling on it, but I think they have some ability to kind of select when their bye weeks are, when their double game weeks are to some extent, to kind of make it work with when their players go on international break. If they do, it's also like, I mean, this last international break was probably, it was just unprecedented in terms of how many impactful players left. I mean, for big national teams like Almada going and getting called up for Argentina was a huge deal. And that wasn't the only one. There was many players like that who were getting called up to big national teams. And I mean, just the amount of players that were on international duty was just remarkable this past window. So I think that's also just new territory for MLS overall, which is a positive, because that means just more impactful players worldwide.
But it's like a catch-22. It's like, oh, it's great that you have a player that's good enough to play for his international team, but oh, by the way, it sucks because he's not going to be here for 3 weeks when maybe you could have used him to get points that might mean a hell of a lot at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So yes, they do. They've got this club benefits program, right? Where if they release a player to play
some
for
soccer
country,
shit I don't understand, man.
They
do
get compensated. However, it's based on the number of players that they've released, the number of days each player is in a tournament, and that's about it, really. So,
oh my gosh, can you imagine in any other sport, for the most part, if the best player, one of the best players on the team, was like, "Yo, man, I got to go away for a little while," and the sport's continuing to play, like, "Hey, the rest of the team's going to keep playing. LeBron James is going to go do something, or whoever." Or quarterback anyway. I don't know, man. It's just, it's one of those things. I get it. it's new to me, and I'm like, hold on, where the hell's Carroll? What's happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, to be fair, I mean, New York Red Bulls had more key players missing for international duty than Charlotte, so it should have played into Charlotte's hands this window specifically. Not all, but I think I mean, they had. I mean, New York had at least I think 3 or 4 pretty regularly playing players out on international duty. So Charlotte probably should have had the advantage if we're looking strictly at international duty, but that's not always going to be the case, obviously, either.
it's not. All right. So if you guys want to enter in tonight's giveaway, it's hashtag hell to the leather to enter. And we'll get this keyed up to do the sharing of the screen here. 1 second.
And this is CLTFC Fan TV for the fans, by the fans. We've
Yeah,
been
real quick.
from day one. Subscribe, like, share, do all that shit. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're all over the place, man.
Yeah, and Amanda keeps giving me stick for not hanging up my pictures and stuff, but my house should be going on the market in May 1st. So
He's
it's
saying
like,
that, man.
no,
He's like,
definitely going in the market May 1st.
all right. I'm
Yeah,
with you,
and-
Adam. I'm with you, Adam. I try to say it. I don't need to say it, man. But yep.
And then this is we could put a collection jar out after the game, man, and use that for our charity thing. We have to come up with something for that, man.
You know what would happen if we put a collection jar out after the game?
What?
One of those punk ass kids will
Yeah.
come up there and run away with it, like they ran away with the
And like,
football
for
guys.
instance, every failed cross we donate to the Red Cross, right? That makes it.
A little
Crosses
bit of
for a
money.
cure. You know,
like that.
dollar from everyone in the stadium for a cross. Yeah, I mean, there's some good ideas for sure. So yeah, and share a seat with Lee. We never did get that going on, did we? So yes. All right. So I'm going to do this real quick.
Don't do it too quick.
No, I won't.
Anyway, everybody.
Anyway,
So yes,
right.
hell to the leather.
Hell
Sorry,
to the
Sally,
leather, man.
it can't be what you said.
Possession for
on
the
Fan
purpose. That's a
TV.
good one too. Yeah, and you're right. Somebody would steal it, man. These people here in Charlotte are always for that. All right, so let's see who's going to
Drafting
win.
these dead kids today. And the winner is
Victor.
Victor Chavez.
Yes, Victor. You're up, bro. That's it. You know how to find Adam, and Adam, don't give it to Victor until he shows up to the tailgate. That's another clause for Victor.
Oh
So-
no, Lee putting on some posts.
Yeah.
That's what we call a string attached.
That's it, right? So yeah, guys, if you're new to the show, I've seen some new faces in here. Hit the sub button for us, like button for all you OGs. I always tune in and make it enjoyable. Brian, man, where can people find you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on Twitter at Bam Mauer Media. You can also find all my written content at topin90.com. Yeah, I just posted a Toronto FC preview for this weekend's match. We posted that today. And also got a new MLS fantasy show we kicked off this year with me and Blake from MLS Gone Wild. It's at Dropping Points. And so we have a new episode recording tomorrow. So
is that a show about fantasy sports, or is it a fantasy about you having a show?
it's a
Fantasy soccer, man. Fantasy
Oh,
MLS.
okay. Let's do that
Yeah.
clarification,
Yeah.
man.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And bring on the
Cool,
interview,
man.
Brian. I'm ready for it, buddy.
Yeah.
So so with that being said, JT,
Yes,
if
Lee.
people want to find us, where do they find us at?
CLTFC Fan TV at wherever, Twitter, YouTube's, Insta. We did some other stuff, but that's mainly where you find us. And you can definitely find us after every home game on
Yes.
the East Gate, the big LED sign gate out there.
Well,
Come talk to us.
Yes. And so with that said, man, CLTFC, CLT.
Jesus, what are you doing? I'll finish it.
Finish it.
CLTFC Fan TV. For the fans, by the fans,